Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be doing something a bit more fun and silly. So as you can see here, we have our AYATO out, but we also have him in a HYPERBLOOM team. But what's slightly unique about this build is that we have him built on Thundering Fury. And I will explain how this build works a bit more during the video. You might have seen it before, you might have not. But either way, I'll explain. And as you can see, it's a really fun and good build, especially in the Spiral Abyss. So without further ado, we're going to put our AYATO on the first half alongside obviously himself, nahida for the HYPERBLOOM because it just makes it so much easier. We have beidou here for AoE coverage. She doesn't trigger HYPERBLOOMs, so she won't get in the way, and just for a bit of extra damage and more electro reactions. And we have kuki here obviously for the HYPERBLOOM. And then on the second half, we are going to be doing a TAO double hydro team just because it's insane for the second half of this current abyss. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, Chamber 1 time. Unfortunately, the blessing won't help us out here, but oh well. Now, let me just explain how this team works real quick. So, basically, the way Thundering Fury works is when you trigger an electro-related reaction, it will reduce your skill cooldown by 1 second. So, our goal here is to trigger Electro Charge alongside HYPERBLOOM, because otherwise, if we don't, our AYATO would have basically a 6-second uptime, but by triggering Electro Charge, we basically have full uptime on its skill, which basically allows us to apply Hydro for, you know, an entire rotation before having to redo our little rotation. So as you can see here, we are just using AYATO's burst for the damage bonus it gives him, and for the extra reactions will help us get. Obviously nahida's here for Dendro to trigger the HYPERBLOOMs, to spawn the HYPERBLOOMs, Cookie's here to trigger the HYPERBLOOMs and for some electro charges, and then beidou is mostly here, partly for the damage reduction because it just helps with survivability, but then also to help with applying a little bit of electro. And as you can see here, we are doing pretty decent damage. Now these guys, I believe, have some Dendro res. Yeah, I think our Dendros here are doing around 88k instead of 30k, I believe, although I might just be seeing things. But yeah, so one important thing on this team is energy for beidou, just because that helps with our uptime on AYATO's skill a lot. So if you just watch like the little countdown whenever we trigger an electro charge whilst on field on AYATO, you can see it kind of reduces the cooldown, which is what makes this team just, first of all, fun, because, you know, it's a bit silly having AYATO on Thundering Fury. But yeah, that's basically what it entails. Anyway, on to the second half now with our TAO. What we're lucky about the second half is it's full single target, which TAO excels at, and also the thing is, YELAN's bow can hit both Weenot's little, you know, orbs he spawns, and obviously it can knock down the Aeon Blight Drake, which is why this team is so good in the second half. Now, if I'm being honest, this is probably going to be the chamber which we take the longest in, although we still shouldn't take that long. Hopefully get a burst of, okay, yeah, we only burst for 100k though, which is unfortunate. I might have messed up the timings there. Now this attack's just a bit annoying, although we have already got him down to half HP after just one rotation. So if we get a few normal attacks off, we can ult thanks to 5 particles here, which is the goal. Although let's just hope we have enough. Okay, we're missing a bit of energy, which, you know, unfortunate, but there we go, we get it there. And then we can just DPS here. Okay, the question is, am I gonna be able to knock this guy out of his little form? I'm trying to hit a plunge attack here, but I'm not able to. Maybe Zhongli's ult will be able to. Nope. Okay. I honestly don't even know how that attack works. Like, literally. The thing is, although we do only have 30 seconds left, we should still easily clear this. And then, basically what we want to do here is we want to save xingqiu's ult. Actually, yeah, never mind. We don't save xingqiu's ult because we want to make sure we can out DPS here, which is more important than having energy for the next chamber, because we should be able to pass the next chamber anyway. But yeah, we basically clear this because we have our ult, so there you go. Ooh, okay, never mind, that's unfortunate, but we should still clear this last second. Hopefully TAO get a skill up, please. Okay. Okay, that was way closer than I expected, if I'm being honest. I kind of messed up there at the end, but it's fine, we move on to chamber 2. Okay, chamber 2 time. We again get an elemental skill buff, which is a bit useless, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, once again, what we will be waiting to do our nahida skill here so that we can mark all the summons as well. We just get our beidou ult up so that we can trigger our electro charges, and you should be able to see, like, kind of down there in the corner, that instead of like a 6 or 7 second cooldown, we have like a 3 to 0 second cooldown. Depends how many electro charges we're able to hit. But yeah, we're able to kill these guys' summons, so they're gonna die pretty soon. The nice thing is we'll be able to use our nahida skill on basically these guys, as soon as they use their summons, and actually, you know what, we have a bit of time, so what we can actually do here is we can Kuki ult here will also help us get more electro charges, which is obviously nice. And we should be able to kill these guys really quickly because there's just a lot of numbers. Like, look how this team can melt people if they just group together. Like, I wish this team had more grouping, but you know, it is what it is. But in between Nahida damage, Hyperbloom damage, Beidou damage, AYATO damage, there's just so many damage sources on this team where it just absolutely melts AoE if they group together. It's also still good in single target. The one problem with single target is you're probably not going to get as many electro charges, whereas Beidou's ult is, you know, really good if you have 2+ targets. So I'd say this is more of an AoE Hyperbloom team, more so than a single target team. Now, onto the Weenot. Now, the good thing about Hu Tao is you don't need to be on her on field for too long. She has about, I think it's an 8-second DPS window, slightly longer, actually, probably, but yeah, something around there. So it actually lines up decently with Weenot's DPS windows, because I know for a character like, I don't know, like Risley or Nivelet who have longer DPS windows, it can be a bit annoying. I can't imagine being a Sino main trying to play against the Weenot. Like, that seems incredibly painful. Now, like I said, the good thing about YELAN here is if we just shoot one of the... Okay, they basically spawn next to each other, which is nice as well. So we're not going to be able to do our full Hu Tao rotation here. The good thing is, though, her ult lets us front load a bit of damage. So we can do that when he's starting to go back up. But as you can see, you know, we're doing pretty decent damage here. We hit 120k on the ult, and he's basically half HP. Oh, and we're able to get a little plunge attack without Shen Yun. So, like, who needs her? Ignoring the fact that I'm completely coping just for the fact that I don't have her, and I don't know if I will. It depends how many premiums we're able to get. But if I am able to, then I will be doing a small pulling video on Shen Yun, and we will also probably be... We're probably going to do a Hu Tao plunge attack video as well on the first half of the Abyss rather than the second half. So, you know, there's not too much repeating content. But yeah, now Weenot is nearly down. So I think we're probably going to be able to kill him here. I'm not too... Never mind, we don't have a skill up. Whoops. Okay, I got a bit ambitious there with the ult. Unfortunately, it did nothing, but, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, luckily, we will once again be able to knock him down easily. You know, these two orbs like to spawn a bit close to each other. And there you go. Okay, once again, we're running a bit thinner on time than I thought we would, so we might actually have to alter on YELAN. And there we go. That's Chamber 2 done, and onto Chamber 3. Okay, onto Chamber 3, and we finally get a blessing, which can be useful for us. Can you believe it? Yeah, anyway, now these guys are a bit annoying. Also, I do recommend going over to this guy, you know, the one without the little electro one, because that one will just move to you here. But yeah, anyway, we are just going to do our normal rotation here. I honestly forget when I should AYATO ult, so I just kind of do it when I feel like it. And okay, what's unlucky is that they ungrouped, which is unfortunate. So again, we're just going to run over to this guy, use our ults a bit more, just so that we can get more electro charges. And like I said, there are just so many damage sources in this team. Now, you might be wondering, okay, I want to run an AYATO Hyperbloom team, but do I need him on Thundering Fury? The answer is no, not really. But the thing then is you're going to be relying on your ult to, for the Dendro cores half the time, which you don't really want. You rather have full uptime on his skill so that you can get more Hyperbloom cores and then trigger more Hyperblooms. So I definitely would recommend putting AYATO on Thundering Fury. But then again, you can basically make any Hydro character a Hyperbloom team. So like one of my favorite ones is Nivelet Hyperbloom. That's one of my favorite teams in the entire game. You can make, I mean, I've even done Barbara Hyperbloom before, so you can do whatever you want. You can make whatever Hydro character in your Hyperbloom team as you want. But yeah. Now on to the second half. Once again, lucky thing is we are able to knock this guy. Okay. We don't talk about how I love missing my arrows. Now, anyway, as I was saying before that unfortunate event, literally the great thing is that our YELAN just puts him out the air. Like, this guy just can't fly anymore. And, okay, we ult here. We also do get, we hit 130k on our ult, which is, you know, decent. I do wish we'd be hitting around 200k, but can't be too greedy. Now, he's already down to half HP in, like, I don't know how long. It feels like 30 seconds, probably. I don't know, maybe a bit of an exaggeration. But yeah, he's going to die here. And unironically, the third chamber was actually the easiest chamber out of all of them because we didn't have to wait for any summons, so we could just knock this guy out the air straight away. We didn't have to deal with any annoying DPS windows. So yeah, that's the... Okay, let's see. Can we finish this fantasy off with... Okay, we don't finish it off with... Okay, we finished it off with a Zhongli Pillar rather than a Zhongli Meteor. But yeah, if you have any doubts about how strong these two teams are, you really should. Especially the AYATO team. It goes under the radar just because of how popular HYPERBLOOM teams are and how many there are. But this is a very, very strong AoE HYPERBLOOM team. If you have an AYATO and you don't use him anymore, you know, maybe if you build on Thundering Fury, you have a new use for him, especially in abysses like these. So yeah, that's it for the Abyss section, and now we are going to quickly move on to our builds and then the outro. Okay, so now when it comes to our character builds, if we look over to our AYATO, he is on 74 crit rate and 181 crit damage, which, you know, is just sort of decent enough damage. Most of the damage from the team will be coming from HYPERBLOOM. AYATO's damage is sort of secondary, but, you know, it's nice to have a good crit ratio and some decent stats on him. Obviously, we have him on Black Sword, so it's not fully a free-to-play build. And then for Thundering Fury. Now, if I'm being honest, my Thundering Fury pieces aren't that good. The thing is, I didn't need to farm Thundering Fury on this account for any character other than to make this HYPERBLOOM team, and because his personal damage isn't that important, I just decided, you know, I'll just throw on an okay 4-piece set. So, like I said, it's not amazing. These stats could be way better if you really tried to, but yeah, that's how we're looking there. And then obviously our AYATO is C0 and his talents are 21010. When it comes to our nahida, she is on 937 EM. Basically goes up to 1000, and then 4 crit, 70 crit damage, and then we have her on sack frags and on 4-piece depot, just so that, you know, for that danger res thread, so our HYPERBLOOMs do more damage. C0 and 210 talents. Our beidou is on 56 crit and 101 crit damage, so basically a 1-to-2 ratio of 201 ER. If he had official, this could go a little lower, but because Kuki isn't as good of a battery, I'd rather have higher ER on her. Then we have her on Wolf's Gravestone as well, so that she has decent attack to make up for having an ER main stat. So yeah, the 5-star does kind of carry her stats a bit, although her artifacts aren't fully leveled, so you could definitely do better. She is C6, and then we have her on 1911 talents, mostly thanks to constellations. Our Kuki 862 EM, just trigger those HYPERBLOOMs. When you factor in the Gilded set on 3 EM, she basically has near 1000 EM. Weapon could be leveled up a bit more. And then when it comes to our second half team, our TAO is on 75 crit with 230 crit damage, alongside 122 ER, just so, you know, we can get her burst up a bit more, 187 EM as well. She has on Homa, so again, this technically wouldn't be like a free-to-play stuff of Homa or a free-to-play AYATO. I mean, they are technically, well, they're not technically free-to-play. TAO is technically free-to-play, but, you know, kind of got lucky with her weapon. Sadly, I didn't make videos back then, so unfortunately, no one saw how lucky my wishes were for TAO, YELAN, and Homa, which is unfortunate, but yeah. We did invest quite a lot into her artifact. She is only C0 on the other hand. It would be nice to be able to do a video with Shenyun, however, I'd have to pull her first, which we'll see if I'll be able to do that. So yeah, C0 triple crown, so our TAO is pretty well built. Our xingqiu, basically 50 crit, 110 crit damage, 220 ER. Probably could have less considering we're running a double hydro team, but yeah, you know, he's just built as you would expect. C6, 2911 talents. YELAN, 1610 talents. C0, crit damage, hydro, and HP as you would expect. Again, Fav, and we are on 6172 and basically 200 ER. And then when it comes to our zhongli, he is just a shield bot build with 54k HP, a black tassel, and then just full HP build. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We will be having more Spiral Abyss videos coming out soon, and we also have our Java pudding video, our little special video coming out soon, so be sure to stick around and subscribe for that. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video.